What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News, and I want to talk to you guys finally about the recap of Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia. Now, I saw the fight last night, and I noticed that Danny Garcia, I think he did what I expected him to do. Um, you learned a lot about those fighters last night. I learned that when Danny can't really hit the gas. Danny relies on his power as the nullifier. Okay, he what Danny does is he looks for that hook because I think that's his best punch, his left hook, and I think he's the harder puncher between him and Shawn. The only difference is Shawn is a gritty, tough, aggressive fighter. You know what I mean? He went right at Danny Garcia, and that's exactly what I thought he was going to do, and he did the right thing. Now, one thing I was surprised with Shawn Porter was he was able to counter that jab of Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia did land some good shots. I don't think it was really close. I don't think that it was a robbery by no stretch of the imagination. I just think that Danny Garcia has to have that special whatever that is. I don't think he has it. I think he depends on landing certain shots, and those certain shots, the same shots he landed with Matisse, Khan, those type of guys where he was able to stop them or hurt them. I think Shawn felt his punches, but I don't think Garcia hits hard enough in the welterweight division. You know what I'm saying? I think Danny Garcia, honestly, his punches, you could hear them. They thudded off, so you could tell they landed. They landed flush, and he hit Shawn Porter with some good shots. But it didn't affect Shawn because Shawn was equally tough like Danny Garcia. He just beat Danny up, though. He just went at Danny and just started mauling him, and he was just hitting him with like quick, short punches. You know what I mean? Inside the punches, racking up points. You know what I'm saying? And he did what he needed to do to win. He was hungrier for the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I think what it was, Shawn Porter has lost twice, okay, as of now, and he knows what it takes to win these fights. Versus before, when he lost to Brook, he got out hustled. When he lost to Keith Thurman, he got out hustled just slightly, but he still got out hustled. So he knew someone like Danny Garcia, hey, I'm coming for you. That's probably one of the reasons he wanted to fight him, because he knew I got this kid's number. I can duke him out. You know what I mean? I can put hands on this boy, and he did. And it surprised me about Danny Garcia. Actually losing the decision, because I thought that they were going to give it to Danny, but because I felt Danny was protected. You know what I'm saying? I think that he had the nod. He was given the nod on a lot of these fights like Canelo. But I guess after the loss to Thurman, okay, we could clearly see that I guess that invincibility protection has fell off. You know what I'm saying? He no longer has it. But another thing I want to talk about Danny is Danny, I believe he has what I call the Gotti syndrome, or the Gotti effect, right? Is where, like Gotti, he was a good fighter. He was a hell of a fighter when he was taking on guys like Tehran Millette and Joey Gamache, knocking him out and stuff like that at 140, and he had really good fights at 140. But then when he went to 147, he's seen that was a whole different class, a different size of fighter. The fighters, the punches didn't feel the same. Even when he landed those punches, he had great power at 140, but at 147 it was challenging. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't the same type of the punching power he displayed. So I think the same thing has happened to Danny Garcia. Danny, yeah, he knocked out Brandon Rios, but look what Brandon Rios is coming from 140. And that's only because Brandon Rios' diet's terrible. He doesn't really focus on, I think it's physical conditioning with Brandon Rios, because you look at him, he always looks flabby. Like, dude, you supposed to be in shape, but but that's having probably a horrible diet and a lot of other problems. Okay, so um, but yeah, so you don't really get credit for knocking that guy out. Samuel Vargas, he did take Samuel Vargas out, and I think Samuel Vargas was a full-fledged welterweight, but he doesn't have the best chin in the world because last night we just seen him get dropped by Khan, and Khan isn't known to be just a knockout puncher. A lot of times his power comes from his speed, like punches you don't see because he's throwing them like rapid fire, right? So but other than that, you know what I mean? He caught Thurman with some pretty good shots. And Thurman, in fact, Thurman started at 150. So he started above 147. Okay. So, you have to look at that and consider that. But Danny Garcia definitely threw some good shots, landed some good shots. He tried to rally, but I think Danny tries too late. You know what I mean? He tries to rally too late, I feel. And it's unfortunate for Danny because since he's got the nod on certain fights that people question, I think he had it in his mind drilled like all I got to do is fight a pretty decent fight and I'll get a decision. You know what I'm saying? And he now, I think after his second loss, okay, I think now he will get it together. It will click like, look, nobody's going to give it to you no more. You're not the fan favorite. You know what I'm saying? The money's not on you. The money was actually on him, but it's not on him as far as favoritism now. All that's gone. Okay. So I think he knows now, or he should know, hopefully from last night's loss have taught him, hey, I got to get my ass out there and hustle these fights. I know I'm not going to knock everybody out. You don't have everyone's not like Samuel Vargas or Brandon Rios. Guys are not going to fold when you hit them with a flush shot. Not at 147 because he did not start at 147. Okay, so but it's a lot of fights Danny Garcia could fight. I would love to see him fight Errol Spence. I would love to see him fight a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying? But Shawn Porter is a tough guy. Okay. So it was a good fight. It was a very high action fight. Shawn Porter did what he's supposed to do. He took it to Danny Garcia and made a good decision. He out hustled him, just really beat him up and took the fight. You know what I'm saying? Really from the fourth round on fourth because, Garcia, he throws those winging shots and he's real good at timing. And I thought that would be a problem, but he could not keep Porter off of him because Porter knows, he knows what he can do. He does really well with what he can do. He can fight on the inside. He can throw those punches even in land punches, even in a clinch. So when you think you're clinching Shawn Porter, he's actually still scoring punches. You know what I'm saying? Upstairs, to the stomach, to the side, Yeah, so he's really still putting in work. So it was a good fight, man. I really enjoyed it. But I think that Shawn Porter should, man up and fight, Earl Spence. So, at least you will have a somewhat of a unified belt. But everything is coming to pass. So we'll see what Shawn Porter does after that versus we'll see what Garcia does, after he after this loss. They'll probably put him in with another tune-up fight, something like that. I'd love to see him fight Ugas, really. You know what I'm saying? That would be a good fight for him. Fighting someone who also with some skill, and see how he does with Ugas. Yordenis Ugas. So, we'll see because it's a lot of options. Like I said last night, he could probably fight Khan. You know what I mean? That would be a good fight. But yeah, man, it's just with this particular stable of fighters that's here, you still have Terrence Crawford over there. So I mean, guys, these fights have to happen, and it's better sooner than later. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Porter, Garcia, the recap, the fight. Please leave your comments. Please subscribe. And of course, you guys been counterpunched. Peace.